On the 31st of December, the Danish queen shocked the citizens of Denmark with a grand announcement that she would abdicate her throne. After spending 52 years as the regent of Denmark, the queen rightfully said that pension does sound pretty nice. Between January 2nd and the 6th, after a splendid New Year celebration, life in the Danish country was supposed to return to a sense of normalcy. However, it seemed that Mother Nature had a different idea in mind, as a massive snowstorm stranded several people on the freeway for up to 24 hours, which seemingly had the side effect of people panicking and, because of being trapped in their car, now have sought medical help, treating symptoms akin to PTSD. And let me remind you, this is only because they were stuck in fucking traffic. On the 8th of January, serial criminal and overall complete fuck-up has gotten yet another thing on his resume of complete insane accusation to put on his lifelong speedrun of screw-ups. A mystery in Denmark that involved a 17-year-old who went missing and was found dead about 6 months later on December 24th, 2016. The case was cold for many years, until April 2023, when our main character and only suspect in the case was arrested for kidnapping a 13-year-old girl. What a fucking screw-up. It is no secret that the Danish society loves a good drink of all kinds. Alcohol fills more in the daily life than ever, and proposals by our
infallible, flawless, top-tier minds of our political parties.
What is their genius plan, you ask? To raise the drinking age, which will no doubt lead to more black market booze and consumption of other narcotics in the near future. And on that note, as more educational institutions have implemented smoke-free areas throughout the nation, then it also opened up for the great possibilities for the good old snuff market. Schools and medical professionals have voiced their concerns, but since, just like the price increase on cigarettes in Denmark, it has caused the amount of purchased cigarettes in stores to decline and naturally affected the numbers on how much Danish people smoke, which does look good on paper. That is, of course, if you don't take into consideration the big fucking black market that has been created. It is estimated that about 330,000 people have bought illegal cigarettes over the last 2 years, as a consequence of the price increase on a single pack of cigarettes, which could land up to billions in lost profit for the state. But as the numbers seemingly go down on the legal consumption, then it is clear it is heading in the wrong direction. On the 10th of January, and around the same time as Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, stormed out of the hearing in an attempt to, as we like to call it, not face the consequences of his own wrongful actions, a Danish ice cream truck crashed on a highway, blocking the entirety of the 2-laned highway, causing minor delays and a slight inconvenience for the people commuting. Thankfully, no one has reported PTSD as of this moment. Besides that, nothing noteworthy. January 14th. On the day of the king's coronation, the old guards awoke in a splendid celebration or protest, depending on how you read the signs. As last time, Iceland's volcano erupted, known as
Eyjafjallajökull.
Thank you. Was in 2010, causing massive smoke entering the atmosphere. As flight routes were cancelled, crop yields across the world fell as a consequence of the sun being blotted out. In contrast to that bleak image, and how the Almighty may interpret it, our new king started the day prancing around the capital in the fancy carriage with his wife, and overall, seemingly to have a good time at it. 330,000 people showed up to celebrate the new king's ascension. On the balcony, he was greeted with cheers of "Long live the king." And by that logic, the Prince Christian therefore becomes the youngest heir apparent since the current King of England. Hopefully, he will not have to wait just as long as him to become king himself. On the 19th to the 25th, the extremely unpopular Nordic waste group, responsible for a cleanup effort of a contaminated soil, declared bankruptcy, even though recently announced they had made 50 million on the deal and allegedly took out millions of them before going bankrupt. The Danish billionaire Torben Østergaard Nielsen, who was the majority owner of the company, ended up rejecting any responsibility, despite having only removed 0.3% of the total amount, and by that point pretty much just said to the people who live in the area, "Go fuck yourselves." In unrelated news, the same billionaire also decided to start an environmentally friendly foundation which is supposed to, and I quote, "safe conduct which solves and eases the problems around landslides and climate changes." A statement as ever so greenwashing as a man who just washed his contaminated hands in a pointless effort to win any form of goodwill back, which in turn promptly made it the mission of all politicians to earn their own greenwashing points by openly denouncing the company and the man himself. The following day on the 27th, a man was greeted by an unusual guest in his backyard. Unusual because in Denmark, a deer decided to let itself become domesticated like a stubborn barn cat. It moved in without permission, the deer planted its ass in the backyard grass and has continuously refused to move for days, seemingly not afraid of humans, but rather enjoying the peace and quiet of the warmth the owner has given it. Just look at that expression. And if the winter gets too hard, at least the man has some venison on his porch. On the 29th of January, a message in a bottle was discovered by a woman out on a stroll with her family. Sadly, the message in the bottle did not reveal a treasure map or a cry for help that was unanswered, but simply a message request to the person who we can only assume threw the bottle into the ocean. The hunt is on, as the message was sent 39 years ago, leaving people wondering if the sender is still with us. This story has garnered more attention than later in the day across the sea when a British newborn baby was discovered in a pub and declared death by paramedics. As a contrast to explain to the viewers how radically different our news priorities are in the Nordic country. All of these stories are taken directly from the national news sites of Denmark itself. It is meant to demonstrate of how wild and also pointless most of our news are in the day-to-day. And on that note, on the last day of January, the national choice for the best beef sandwich was announced, and the now two-time champion at Café Ella in the city of Horsens has once again done it, and rightfully so, earned their place. Prideful display, and if you are in the city, I command you to go and try some of the most Danish and delicious food you'll ever experience. This has been the Daily Danish News on the monthly basis. Thank you guys for watching, and yeah, I don't know. Go fuck yourself, I guess.